Welcome back to Birds of a Feather Talk Together. This week we're diving into the fascinating world of the black-billed cuckoo. It's an incredible bird with some truly surprising behaviors that make it unlike many other birds in North America. This is actually our second episode featuring a member of the cuckoo family. Earlier, we explored the amazing greater roadrunner, which is also a cuckoo. That was a fun episode as well, so make sure to check that out. From black-billed cuckoo's mysterious habits to their unusual diet and remarkable adaptations, there's a lot to discover here. Join John Bates, Shannon Hackett, myself RJ, and my wife Amanda for Birds of a Feather Talk Together. Okay, let's grab our binoculars and let's get into it.
What is a deep state ornithology podcast reporting? Where's the deep state?
Isn't that like birds are robots or?
There we go.
Yes.
Oh,
Birds
geez.
are not real. There you go. That's the deep state. That birds
Right.
are not real movement.
Right. That's the counter to us.
Yes.
Are you real?
I'm excited for the cuckoo.
Yeah.
I tried to
Are we
find
gonna
a video of
are-
the...
Yeah, should we start?
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay. Well, yeah, so black-billed cuckoo. So Amanda and I saw our first black-billed cuckoo this migration season at Montrose, and it was really exciting. We didn't even know there's like a possibility. And then somebody in our group was following all the pins that were getting dropped and everything. And it was so funny because, like, you know, we were seeing so many warblers and everything was just like so quick, and you'd blink and you'd miss it. And it's like all this action. And then we got this note that there was a black-billed cuckoo out on this other tree, and went there, and it was a pretty clear look at it, and you could see like its red eye and everything, but they really just sit there and don't move once you see it. So it was so funny because we sat for probably like 10 minutes looking at this thing and then went and got another position. And it's such a beautiful bird, but it was so funny, just like the contrast from everything else we were seeing that day.
Run,
But we were
zipping
so
around
excited to
and-
see it. So I'm excited that we're gonna. Right.
Right.
But yeah, I can't believe we've never done a cuckoo. This is our first
That's
cuckoo
right.
episode.
Yep.
I know.
Cuculiformes, new order.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you know what it was, OJ?
Oh, we did because somebody in our group got word that there was one, so we
Oh.
specifically went out with our group to find it. But yeah, John, you were starting to talk about.
Well, it's a bird from the eastern U.S. and it's a long distance migrant. So they actually don't really know where it spends the winter down in South America. And it's part of this genus of New World cuckoos that includes yellow-billed, that's a bird that I grew up wanting to see in Arizona because it was there. And then you get to the eastern U.S. and both black-billed and yellow-billed are around, and you have the potential to see both, for instance, in Illinois. And yellow-billed tends to be a lot more, I don't know. That's an interesting question whether it's commoner, but it seems to me I encounter yellow-billed more than I do black-billed. And so it's always fun to see a
okay.
black-billed cuckoo.
Yeah, what makes them so elusive? Like when I was doing my research, like the first line and when I was reading about them was just like elusive. I was like, oh yeah, that
I think
tracks.
it's kind of exactly what you described with your experience is that they don't move around a lot. I mean, that's not so they're not like a warbler where they'll be flitting around in the trees. So they'll sit there really quietly for a long time. They're caterpillar specialists. So one of the things that's really fascinating about them from my perspective is I think they have no site fidelity year to year when they come back to breeding areas. They're basically just moving around the landscape looking for potential caterpillar outbreaks that'd have good amounts of food to feed young. And so yeah, I
So
think
they're really just going like where the food is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they can be pretty unobtrusive. And you know, there are other members of the genus like mangrove cuckoo, which are skulkers in mangroves and coastal vegetation for the most part, and they can be really hard to see too. And so one of the best things is to get them calling. Black-billed cuckoo's kind of interesting because a lot of their vocalizations, they're active at night in the early evening.
Oh.
And so that's another thing that makes them hard to detect if they're just sitting there during the day.
I can pull up their call.
There we go. It's a great call.
that coming through?
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Well, now
So
you
are
know why
they
they're
a
called cuckoos.
onomatopoeia?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you answered my question.
So the that word cuckoo is tied originally to your Eurasian cuckoo, cuculus, I think, and that's a bird that literally does go cuckoo, cuckoo. So yes, it is onomatopoetic, and the other cuckoos kind of fall into line, and that even includes things as crazy as roadrunner.
Wait, is a roadrunner a type of
cuckoo?
cuckoo?
It's a New World cuckoo.
Oh,
Oh,
I didn't realize
wow.
that.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Oh, so we have done a cuckoo episode.
Yeah,
we
you're
have.
right.
That's true. You're right. I forgot about that. We should play the vocalization for Roadrunner just to because it'll drive it home.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, they're the other interesting thing about cuckoos is they can be parasitic, meaning they lay their eggs in nests, but black-bills only rarely do that.
Okay.
I read they can be intraspecifically parasitic, but rarely interspecifically parasitic. And it made the description of how you know made me laugh because it's like it says, well, you just go look for nests that have a lot of eggs in them. So the parasitized nests can have 11 eggs instead of the 4 that are usually in a nest. So I guess if you went around and found nests, which I do not know how easy it would be to find black-billed cuckoo nests, probably not so easy. And if you find one with lots of eggs, it's probably been parasitized by another black-billed cuckoo.
So they put eggs when they're doing this in the same species. It's not like a cowbird where they're going to just any nest they can find. Okay.
Well,
yeah, I guess a yellow-billed are interspecifically parasitic more than black-billed.
Oh.
So they don't. They both, even though they
Okay.
look pretty similar, they don't all behave the same way.
right.
Okay.
And both these species actually do build their own nests on a regular basis.
Okay.
And I was wondering sorry, RJ, I know you want to play that Roadrunner, but I have one more question about the egg laying. So when they parasitize, is it just one egg per other nest?
Good question.
Not necessarily. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know whether they certainly with cowbirds, you can get a female if she thinks she can get multiple eggs in, will come back to a nest and parasitize it again. So, but I don't know about the cuckoos.
Okay. Because I was watching a video.
Go ahead.
I was just watching a video before, and it said in the video, it was a BBC video. They showed the hatched, cuckoo chick. It pushed all the other eggs out. So I was wondering if that meant they only did one egg per nest because whoever hatches first is going to get rid of everybody else.
So I think that is true in common cuckoo, the European one.
Okay, the common cuckoo. Okay. And Shannon, what were you saying?
We don't want to put 2 eggs over the course of 2 days in a nest if the parent of the nest is tossing the eggs out. Because they will toss your first egg out before you put a second one in.
Oh, okay. So that's an instance where the parent knows it's been parasitized?
Yeah. So some birds will, throw out a cowbird egg. I mean, obviously the cowbird egg compared to, a yellow warbler egg, these are not in the same scale.
So it's really obvious. I hear you.
All right.
Okay.
I've got the Roadrunner call.
There we go. Pretty cuckoo-like, right?
All right. I hear it.
I
Yeah.
hear it too. Sounds like
Yeah.
a cuckoo to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a saying cuckoo. Yeah.
That's not what they
They
sound like
also
on the cartoon.
No, that's true.
Wile E.
Doesn't
Coyote
go
and
beep, beep.
Roadrunner. That is not what it. That is not right. That's a fail.
No, I was just going to say that it's a family that's really old. That's why it's an order that it's its own order, the Cuculiformes, and they're incredibly successful. So they're on all the continents except for Antarctica, and So it's an interesting group of birds because if you pulled them out and looked at them in a specimen drawer, for instance, you wouldn't have any trouble saying, oh, that's a cuckoo. So even roadrunner, for instance, if it's laying on its back, has this long tail with white spots on it, just like yellow-billed and black-billed cuckoos do. And all the cuckoos tend to have very long tails and then these long bills that are designed to basically be able to grab caterpillars and things.
And I was reading about their stomach too, how their stomach is like specially the way that they digest, that they like shed their stomach lining if they get too many caterpillars or something, almost like
The
and then they have like a
spines.
pellet like an owl, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Or spines.
So the
Okay.
spines from the caterpillars. I mean, if you've ever, a lot of birds won't touch some of these caterpillars or they'll bang off all of the spiky stuff on the outside of the caterpillar. But I guess these don't. They ingest it, and then once your stomach gets full of almost like little needles, right? They ball it up and huck it out.
So I'm fascinated. I want to know how common that is across birds now, because when I was in Antarctica, I remember one of the penguin researchers pointing to chinstrap, this green stuff in a chinstrap penguin colony, and they replace their stomach lining every once in a while.
Wow.
And so I don't know how common that is
crazy.
in birds.
I wish we could do that. Be nice.
Do you?
I do.
Is that because you want to eat caterpillars?
So-
What you want to eat? Spiky
No,
things?
no, I
Why
feel
do you
like-
want to do that?
No, I feel like everybody's stomach could use a reset. It'd be nice to be able to control that.
Yeah, maybe I could eat dairy
Exactly.
after I shed my lining. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
all for
You,
that.
you will have like 1 second, RJ, before you have to spit it out. So before you get sick. So you can enjoy the taste. What you
Yes.
need is to enjoy the taste of it, but not have it actually get into your stomach.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like people who do like wine tasting and spit it out. I could do that with cookies and
yes.
cake and ice cream.
So in birds, that what I think of with that is they've done experiments with monarch butterflies, which are poisonous. And if you give a monarch butterfly to a blue jay, it'll actually puke it right back. It won't even get down to the stomach. But one of the things that I was reading about cuckoos is that they'll actually prefer some of these poisonous. Some of these tent caterpillars have pretty significant toxins in them, and maybe that's one of the reasons they're able to, in addition to the spikiness, I guess, I wonder if that helps them deal with the toxins sometimes too.
I read that like they can have someone found like up to 100 caterpillars in their stomach at once. Like I'm trying to think
Wow.
about how many caterpillars 100 in caterpillars is, and that seems like a ton.
Yes. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Their stomachs can't be that big to have 100 in there. That's crazy.
They can always get rid of the lining afterwards. So
That's right. That's what I want for us. Yeah.
So we were also reading about just how the chicks can like fledge so quickly. Like it sounds like they're one of the so the time from egg laying to fledging can be like 17 days or less, even is among the shortest of any
Yeah.
birds. And like it's saying that just at like 6 days old that they have like those spikes and their feathers break out of it or whatever, like feather sheaths, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
mhm.
curious about that.
Most feathers have sheaths when they're being molted, but these things are really something. I mean, they look really different from other bird sheaths. And I guess the bird is really facultative to respond to insect flushes. So and that's why the time frame is so short, because it can't properly do that if there's not enough insects around for the baby birds. So it must figure out it's a good year and get itself into reproductive condition fast, get the babies done fast and out. So they're not precocial the way ostriches or ducks and things like that are, but they do develop. I mean, I was shocked when I read that. I thought, well, that's got to be a mistake. That they're only sitting on eggs for 11 days. And then within 6 days, the baby birds are up and about. That's amazing.
Crazy.
I read that like the sheaths, like it happens so quickly that they like pop like popcorn. was
Oh
one
my.
description.
Is there a video of that?
I couldn't
I
find
looked
any.
for video of that. I could not find video of that. I wanted to see that.
I want to see that
would
or
be
hear it.
Incredible.
So the sheath is a way of the sheath protects the feather as it's coming out, and so it's part of the follicle that the feather comes out of. The feathers are sheathed, and then they emerge. But I don't know if all feathers are sheathed at one time or another. I don't know. But certainly these birds,
Yeah, I
whatever
think so.
they're
I think
doing
they
in
must
their
be.
sheaths are different from what other birds do.
How does I was just thinking about feathers in general, I know it's not like hair, but I'm just thinking about hair. Like it takes so long for like my hair to grow out. Like how does a bird with a feather some birds have a feather this long, come through the sheath and that has to be so fast for certain birds that have like these longer feathers for it to grow. Like
Well,
how
if
does
you-
that happen?
If you're
Mhm.
only going to be alive for a few years and you don't have time to wait for your hair to get long before you go and mate. So, the cell division is pretty incredible in those birds. When you think about it, they're losing, depending on what is going on, they're either a baby bird and getting a whole body full of feathers, or they're molting and they're shedding all their feathers and making new ones. And you have to speed that up, or you're just too vulnerable. You can't be featherless as an adult bird. That not going to go over so well for you. You're subject to the elements. Something's going to eat you. You can't fly, which means you usually can't feed. You don't, your wings would be kind of pathetic without wing feathers, which is why ducks are really vulnerable when they're in this state of plumage change, because they really can't escape from something that wants to come and eat them. But the rate of cell division is incredible. And I wonder if it's been calculated. So reading about these made me want to go do a whole bunch of research that I didn't have time to do on sheaths and how much variation there is across birds and sheaths. And then whether anybody's ever measured cell divisions in some of these birds to know exactly how they're accomplishing such rapid development. But I don't know any of those questions. I just have questions, no answers.
Can you explain what you mean by cell division? So what is
Like,
that exactly?
You have to make one cell divide into two. So that's the whole game, right? So that's how you make a body, is with cell division. Some special cell divisions go on to produce eggs and sperm that have half of the component of DNA that's in, other cells. And so you have to go, you started from an egg and a sperm uniting, RJ. And then by the time you're born, there are trillions of cell divisions that happen, which to me I used to think about that all the time when I was pregnant, just how many cell divisions go into producing another life. And then how freaking amazing it is that it doesn't go wrong every single time. That there's such good photocopies when you're dividing your cells that, and yes, horrible things happen all the time. But, the majority of pregnancies are successful despite all of those cell divisions. So your DNA is being copied every time it's making a cell. And that is amazing. And then it does it over and over and over. Your cells are always regenerating. Well, some of them. Neurons have there's a little bit less of that in the context of neurons. But yeah, your cells are constantly dividing. Your stomach really is constantly being sloughed off, Amanda. So, but each part of your body has its own rhythm. You're just not hawking it up with little tiny caterpillars in it, but you are shedding the lining of your stomach all the time.
Not yet.
As gross as that may seem. Think about it. Bodies are, evolution has produced, it's amazing what's happened through time. Anyways, the wonder of the world to me.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I went to a yoga class recently, and the instructor was like, today you're going to shed 24 million cells, and you're also going to grow 24 million new ones, so make them positive.
Oh, nice.
So there's some science to that.
Nice.
Was there advice on how
That's
to make them positive?
Nope.
Do yoga.
The power of thought.
Yes, yeah.
No, he didn't specify.
Cell divisions respond to mindfulness? Is this the thing?
Do they?
Actually, yes.
So
Make
what's
it
They
the
actually
difference?
probably do.
Actually,
because of the positive effects that mindfulness can have. And the lowering of stress and, cell damage can be caused by stress. So if you lower stress, you're probably having better cell divisions. Anyways, that's my story. I'll stick to that. Tell people to go outside, breathe outside air, and be mindful.
I think cuckoos aren't very stressed. That's my impression.
They look pretty chill.
They
Yes.
they definitely do. Like they're not aggressive.
Yeah. The difference between the black-billed and the yellow-billed, is it literally just the bill?
No.
Are they pretty much
So
similar besides that?
It's not just the bill.
They're pretty similar. There's also the tail spots are different. So the black bill has a kind of it has spots at the end of the tail and just kind of a white to gray white underside, whereas yellow-billed has these regular spots, which a lot of other cuckoos have too.
Okay.
I read that they have those like zygodactyl feet, where you can what is it? You can point the toe one direction or the other. So when they're
Two
actually like
forward,
hunting on
two
a branch, are they pretty? Or two forward, two back. Okay. So when they're hunting on a branch, are they pretty like agile and hunt? Like, can they get pretty quick and everything when they need to be?
So what I would say is,
what do they look like when they hunt?
Yeah. So roadrunners have those feet too, and they can move pretty fast. So it's clearly useful in some situations. I don't think of them because they have really short legs. So I don't think of them as running along branches, although they clearly can move along them. What I think of them as doing is, when you watch them, is they have a really long, slim body and a pretty long neck, and they kind of can port that all the time to get access to the underside of leaves and things to look for caterpillars.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they sally or anything like that. Maybe they do that sometimes.
Pretty much everything they're eating is like on a branch. They're not catching things out of.
Nope.
Or on a leaf or. Something like that. Yeah, they're not like flycatchers.
Okay.
So you know what I thought was a good idea as I was researching these things is I thought maybe we should do some episodes based on World Cup winners. We should do some birds that are really prominent in some of these countries, because a whole bunch of countries people know a lot about have lost, and a whole bunch of countries people don't know very much about have won. So I thought it would be fun to kind of figure out what birds were in there. So we have 334 of these in our collections. Does that surprise you, John?
Oh, wow.
No, because they show up in the window kills. So they fly kind of straight, which means that when they hit a window, it's not a good thing. And they have long, sharp wings. One of the things that's interesting about them is when they're flying, they almost look like hawks. I mean, they're smaller, but they have these long, like falcons. That's what they look like. But they have long tails and very pointed wings. And I mean, we probably have one of the larger collections in existence of black-billed cuckoos because they're a fairly regular bird in Illinois.
Very cool.
Yeah, Cuccaisus erythrophthalmus. So Cuccaisus means cuckoo, and erythrophthalmus means red-eyed. So even though they're black-billed, their common name, their scientific name does not reflect that.
Yep. And that red is actually an eye ring. And so it's actually skin around the outside of the eye. Whereas yellow-billed has a yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Very cool.
Oh, crazy. I need to look at a closer picture.
Me too.
That's
I thought
cool.
it was like the iris or whatever.
Yeah, cool. We could definitely like see the red from when we were looking at it, but obviously not close enough that you could tell that. But it was fun being able to like get close enough that you could ID it by that. So that was fun.
Is that the case with most birds that have red eyes?
No, most birds that have red eyes actually have red actual eyes.
Okay.
Like, they have red pigments in their eyeballs.
Thank you. Okay. And Shannon, what were you going to say?
I don't think of these birds being easy to see at all. Like you have to stumble on them almost. Maybe if you're lucky and they're calling, you'll find them, but they sit so still and they don't move very much. So they're not flitting around like so many other birds. They're just there. So, do you think most people find them just by, waiting for them to call or by scanning trees with their binoculars?
I think you've hit on it, though. I think the funny thing is sometimes you see something move and it doesn't move very much. So you see a little bit of movement or But I think of it if they fly from branch to branch, you can get a silhouette that clearly there's a long tail there. And then one of the differences in yellow-billed is yellow-billed actually has some rusty feathers on the wings, and so sometimes you can pick that up, like we were looking at with the great crested flycatchers the other day. You get some contrasts in what you see. But no, I think they are definitely easy to overlook, and you do probably overlook an awful lot of them. I was going to point out that they don't have much data on, for instance, lifespan, because people will put bands on them when they catch them in a mist net and release them, and they just don't get recaptured. So there's very little data on, very few banding returns for them. And I think that, again, stems from the fact that they're moving around across the landscape a lot over the course of even within a season, probably.
They migrate at night, so that's not going to help you know much about them either. And nobody really knows that much. I was shocked at what we don't know about them. Nobody knows that much about their migratory routes even. They think there may be 2 routes, one through South America and then one through the West Indies. But we really know so little about this bird, except we do know that it's in pretty steep decline. It's one of the North American birds that's in pretty steep decline. And so if it is classified on the yellow watch list, which means it's declining, and there's a medium to high threats associated with its distributions. So it is a bird to pay attention to. When you think about, if people could communicate the way we do now, you'd think that this is the kind of stuff people would be talking about Carolina parakeets or some of these other birds that went extinct, as there'd be long-term discussions of declines. Now we have data, at least we can know these things, which will, maybe it helps us stop them from declining or going extinct. But yeah, so I don't know what the fate of this bird is. I'm not sure exactly why it's had such a decline in population size. Do you know, John?
These are the things that I find we need more data on. One of the possibilities is there aren't as many insect outbreaks because we use a lot more pesticides than we used to. That's,
maybe.
Trying to nail that down in a rigorous way is really hard.
There are no subspecies of this bird, which is another interesting thing for ornithology, that it's, not considered to have much in the way of geographic variation. And there are some, bizarre extralimital records every once in a while, which I also find pretty interesting. So what makes this bird pick up and go somewhere else? I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm on a paper describing a nest in Louisiana, which is way far south of the normal breeding.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Getting close on time for this one. Should we wrap up the cuckoo? Okay.
So is this the best bird you've seen bird watching this year?
Oh, good question.
Good question. Yeah.
I'd say so. Yeah. Do you think so, Amanda?
I mean, it was probably the most unique.
Yeah. We had some warblers that we were excited about. Morning warbler, and I think bay-breasted was a first for us this year.
Yes. I think those were more exciting to me, but this one, I recognize that it's cool.
Hey, everyone. Thanks to everyone for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did in fact enjoy it, please give us a rating and review in your podcast app. We'd very much appreciate it and appreciate all of you. Next week, we'll be back with a brand new episode. Thanks, everyone. We love you all.